to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Welcome back to the Millennial Classics. On this show, we talk about the best and most memorable movies, books, and culture-changing events from our generation. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing well. We're ready to go.
But please tell the folks at home, what book are we doing and why is it a Millennial Classic?
We are doing Pierce Brown's Red Rising, as you can see. Came out 2014. Like, the hype was crazy for this book.
I always know what music is big, what movies are big. How do you know what books are big before book talk, before folks talking about books on YouTube? Because I never knew the hype. I didn't just fucking hang out around Barnes and Nobles. Who did you hear this shit from?
Yeah, no, you don't go to Barnes and Nobles?
Of course I do nowadays.
There's people at Barnes and Noble, you know what I'm saying? And like the new book list, like this book is hot on the New York Times list. You asked me earlier why this is a millennial classic. I can tell you one reason why. This was supposed to be a trilogy. There are now 5 books.
And the 6 is on the motherfucking way.
On the way. On the
way.
How did you come across this book?
You know how like Goodreads and Kindle and all of those apps do the recommendations that way?
Right.
All of the Red Rising books were always one of the recommendations. Immediately after reading Dune, I think it was like February, whenever the movie came out, I started reading Dune that week. As soon as I was done Dune, I was like, I need more sci-fi. I think sci-fi might be my favorite genre, and I'm coming to that very, very late. So about the author, like Mambunga said, this is Pierce Brown. Pierce Brown is an American science fiction author, best known for his Red Rising series, what we're talking about right now. He was born in the current city I'm at right now, Denver, Colorado. Go, woot, woot. All of his major works, as of right now, are just all the books in Red Rising. I don't want to compare it to Harry Potter. That was like universally immensely big, like universally
I think you can compare it because similarly, I think the first book is the weakest.
Yep.
His writing does improve.
So we've got Red Rising 2014, Golden Sun 2015, Morning Star 2016. What a pace this Negro is moving at.
That's scorching, bro.
Exactly. Iron Gold 2018. That's the first time he takes more than a year to write a book. Dark Age 2019, Lightbringer 2023, and Red God is the next book that's coming out, and it's to be announced. His major awards, 2014, he won Goodreads Choice Awards for the best science fiction book for Red Rising. 2015, same thing for Golden Sun. They have tried multiple times to make movies, and Pierce Brown has kind of stopped that. There is a TV series in production. I don't want to say production, but they're talking. He's finishing the script for a TV series, but he can't say what streamer is going to do it because he's still finding the money for the show.
I'm happy they didn't do a movie. I was thinking about this earlier. This has to be a TV show. Like similar to The Expanse, there's too much. And I'd argue that even the first book, they could expand way more.
Oh, 100%.
Way more in depth.
This is the summary of the book. A gold man addresses a group of young people, including Darrow, asserting their racist superiority. Darrow, a red, watches in amazement. Darrow recalls his father's execution on Mars as a hell diver. He operates a claw drill in a helium-3 mine, enduring dangerous conditions to win the Laurel, a reward to improve his and his wife Eo's circumstances.
I will say, in the beginning, I did almost drop this book.
Even at this point, after reading the first 3 books, I'm still trying to picture exactly what that drill looks like. In future books, they use those drills in like a space battle, right?
Yeah.
But I still, in my head,
I still have no idea what it looks like.
Exactly. I love to imagine it, but I know
I should have Googled a photo of it.
Oh, they must have been. Like, those fandoms definitely have some shit in it.
But yeah, it's a tough entry, I think.
And what you told me right before recording, I want you to expand on that a little bit. You said when you reread, you skipped the entire intro. Why?
The first time you read it, I think it doesn't set in, but the second time, for sure, it's a little bit cliche. Typical hero's journey stuff. Like, oh, your significant other got murdered. Oh my God. Now I'm gonna fake my death. Oh my God. Now I'm being put in the revolution.
Oh my God. Yeah,
like we've been here before. I know how it works.
Of course it would be boring to reread the beginning because it seems so stereotypical hero's journey bullshit for an intro, right? He's the poorest of all the poor, but he's got the skill and everyone around him is dying. It's like, all right.
He's
Okay.
he's the greatest. He's the LeBron James of hell divers. Like no one's ever seen this man do something like this before.
Negroes dipping and dodging pit
He was drifting
vipers.
like Toretto in the hell diver. You know, I don't even know.
I do have a quote that I do enjoy. You brave red pioneers of Mars, strongest of the human breed, sacrifice for progress, sacrifice to pave the way for the future. Your lives, your blood are a down payment for the immortality of the human race as we move beyond Earth and Moon. You go where we could not. You suffer so that others do not. I love that little quote because the honest truth of it is if that was the motto I was living my life with, I would feel special. I would feel like
Right.
my people are fucking
I mean,
like
you're terraforming Mars. You're terraforming Mars.
exactly,
That's what they
exactly.
believe. It does do a really good job of outlining the hierarchy
Oh,
and
very good.
how believable it is.
Yes.
After work, Darrow exchanges tense words with a gray guard, Ugly Dan, and reflects on his hopes of winning the laurel. Can we just say the names in this book always they hit.
Ugly Dan, doesn't it? Yeah, of course it does.
Man's walking around, people calling him Ugly Dan to his face. During the Laureltide celebration, the Gamma clan wins again despite losing. Furious, Darrow and his family are led by Io to a secret forest, revealing their enslavement and inspiring him to fight for freedom. They return home at dawn, confronted by Greys led by Ugly Dan. I mean, I know, like they're oppressed and they're trying to like fight for their freedom, but this is not the way to do it. I mean, this is like the most stupid way I've ever seen someone go about it. Also, they are like 16. I think he said his dad was like 16 when he had him. No one knows anything.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like there's like the Reds that are up in like the Mars City, but then there's Reds that live underground like he does. And the Reds that live underground like he does, their life expectancy, especially for the people that doing the drilling, are like 30s, right?
Yeah,
the
exactly.
women live till like 45. You know, he's 16 and he's the greatest hell diver to ever do it.
He's a Bronny James.
But then, so Darrow and Io are captured and publicly flogged for trespassing. During the flogging, Io sings a forbidden song. The Ark governor orders her execution. After Io's execution, Darrow cuts down her body and buries her in the forest. He is soon arrested and sentenced to be hanged. Darrow's uncle holds his feet down as he is hanged. I'm remembering my first time reading the book. I was like, obviously this dude's not dead. There was zero, like
if anything, I think it would have been better if they instead of faking his death, they just snatched him from.
Exactly.
Like who's gonna care? That one
exactly.
dude. I don't think people care.
And I was even thinking, even if he did die, and this was like, that's the history of, what if they made, if he actually died.
No one's going to go back and check.
No one cares. Do you think it's necessary for all of these epic fucking superheroes to always come back from the dead? Because I was just thinking to myself, which like main characters don't fucking come back from the dead? Goku, Harry Potter, Hadrian Marlowe, Jesus, Luffy, Neo, Jon Snow, Gandalf. I mean, everybody dies and comes back. Why is it?
It's for the money. Yeah, because then you can slap on a comic cover the death of Superman, and that shit will sell like hotcakes.
You know how you were saying like the hero's journey? I don't know if you've ever read that book, and I think I want to, just because of course there's a reason that they keep doing it, but it seems so unnecessary.
I'm not saying that it shouldn't be done. I just said it can be done well. Aside from the world building and everything around that, the dialogue always hits. It's really the situation he's created for Darrow to become this like maybe it's too rushed. I don't know.
Of course, he's dying too soon. Yeah, he's dying too soon.
I don't know how I would improve it, but I just know it's not. It's at 75%.
Exactly.
Not like Star Wars 100.
Oh, 100%.
But I do have a question for you, Sporting. Be honest. Let's be honest. Let's do heart to heart, bro. Would you go to a public flogging and or hanging? Would you be front row like in the splash zone?
That's so funny.
Why are you hesitating? You gotta think about it.
Right now, if they are doing a live hanging, like Trump comes out, is like, yo, Joe Biden's basically dead. Let's just wrap this shit up, right?
Yo, Trump's like, we found the shooter, bro. We're about to hang him.
We're about to hang him. If he did some like crazy ass shit like that, I would feel like it's crazy. But living in this world, in this universe where people get hanged, where people are flogged in public, 100%. And there's a specific chapter or a couple of chapters in the Count of Monte Cristo where Dantes is having a fucking orgasm watching like these dudes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He goes on this monologue that he's like, this is humanity. This is the greatest thing. And it's like, Of course I would go. There's no way. Like, if you are the kind of person that goes to a UFC match, a boxing match,
That's
and you
true.
like
That's
that
true.
stuff,
It's like you go to like you roam and you go to the Coliseum.
exactly. I think like 90% of people would.
Darrow wakes up in a grave, rescued by Ralph and Harmony from the Sons of Ares. Again, the names, bro. They always this dude kills it, bro.
Slaps.
They tell him Ares has a mission for him and take him to meet Dancer. Darrow learns his uncle Nero was involved with the Sons of Ares. Dancer tests Darrow's intelligence and informs him about Mars' oppressive system.
Darrow asks Dancer something, and this is another quote from the book that I absolutely love, and it's a callback again to the Count of Monte Cristo. I keep coming back to it because I just also recently finished that book.
The parallels just jump at you.
Just jump at you. But Darrow says, "You said you could give it to me." Dancer replies, "I said I would give you justice. Vengeance is an empty thing, Darrow." And it's simple, it's straight to the point. He's literally telling you this is the bad thing, but
Right.
you fucking want it.
And it's repeated again later on by Roque. I think the same exact words.
It must be. I read this book before I read The Count of Monte Cristo, but the second I start to think about this book, you're right. It's everywhere. You just see Edmond Dantes everywhere throughout this book.
I also see a lot of Game of Thrones when Cassius is killing Titus. And he's like, you murdered her. You raped her. Yeah. Darrow, Harmony, and Dancer meet Mickey the Carver, who agrees to transform Darrow into a gold. Darrow impresses Mickey by solving a complex puzzle. Mateo helps Darrow adjust to his new gold body. Darrow is reluctant to accept his new gold name, wanting to retain his original identity. Dancer reminds Darrow of his mission and the need to remember Eo's dream. In this section, especially leading up to the Institute, they do a lot of circle jerking about how out of the box thinker he is.
Oh, yeah.
It's laid on a little thick.
A little thick, bro. I literally, one of my questions are, the dude, he's like, pick this paper or this paper, and he takes one and then eats the other. That's not that out of the box. You don't need to be chewing on paper.
On top of that, like, this man did not go to school. I mean, you can be naturally gifted. I can understand that.
Yeah.
But like, he's 16, bro.
Yeah.
They expect him to like match wits with like everybody else who's just been training since like day one.
Day one. Yeah.
And they trained him like 3 months.
Some of the science in this feels like fantasy. Even when they talking about how he's just quick on the uptake with the muscles and all of this stuff, and how Harmony trains him really difficultly. But then they also talk about how he gets like plug a thing into his brain and they can upload his shit like it's Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah, that's what I pictured it as.
Yeah, so like,
or like some Total Recall thing where it's like an implant, like in
exactly.
your ear or something.
So he can learn really fast, and they go deep on that stuff.
There's a couple times he does this, Pierce Brown, and what I really like. I love it when sci-fi authors do this, and that's when take like half of two words, combine it together. You still understand what is being said, even though it's like a sci-fi term, but like he doesn't explain anything and all about it. But like dude also does that a lot.
I love it. Darrow takes the admission test for the Institute, involving logical problems and physical challenges. He impresses the proctors and passes a lie detector test. On the shuttle to the Institute, he befriends Julian and meets Severo. Arch Governor Nero Augustus gives a speech on the gold's dominance. I'm just going to pause here, and you can keep reading after this, but I did want to take a snippet out of Nero's speech, because god damn it, this man is about...
I literally put in my book at the testing chapter, yeah, this is when the book picks up.
Yes, you can feel the presence of Nero Augustus in the book every time his name is mentioned.
Every time he steps up to the plate.
The quote: "Many orates, I think it's how it's pronounced. Many orates have not sacrificed. That is why they do not wear this." He shows a long scar on his right cheek, the scar of a peer. "We are not the masters of the solar system because we are born. We are the masters because we, the peerless scarred, the iron golds, made it that way."
That's a great quote, because I think up till that point, Darrow really doesn't understand what the golds are.
There are struggles on both sides. Obviously, you would rather be a gold, but once you learn what the golds go through to be the gold, and specifically to be the peerless scarred gold, then you understand, yes, this whole system is fucked, but it's fucked because the people on top, number one, not just are the people on top, you are forced to earn that fucking spot. The people at the top, dare I say, deserve to be at the top because you have to be
the best of the
fucking
best.
ruthless and
Yeah, and
intelligent.
Darrow participates in the draft, overcoming obstacles and impressing the proctors. He is selected 10th out of 1,000 students for House Mars by Lauren Arcos. The passage. Darrow is placed in a survival test with Julian, where only one can survive. Wrestling with his morals, Darrow kills Julian to secure his place in the Institute. I love the passage, man.
This is what I thought while I was reading it, right? I was like, oh, Darrow's obviously not going to kill some random person, especially this is Julian, the one kid that he befriended on the train. It's literally like when Darrow takes the test to get into the Institute, he meets three people, Julian, Cassius, and Mustang. Mustang is an asshole. She's like, you can't ride a horse. You're a bum. Get the hell away from me. Cassius is just the most pompous douchebag ever. Julian is a nice kid.
Oh, no, you're wrong. He also meets Severo.
Oh, he does also meet Severo. And he's just
great.
like a
My
weirdo.
favorite character. My favorite character, by far.
It's hard not to. But reading through the passage, I was like, all right, Darrow's going to like break his leg, and then they're going to sit in this dark room for hours, if not days, until the proctors come in and be like, why didn't you do the thing you know you were supposed to do? 3 paragraphs down, Darrow's like, I snapped this Negro's neck because I had to do it. And I was like, God damn. I didn't think he had to do the killing.
I also like how they match the top with the bottom.
You like that?
Like just the top 50
cut the fat? You like that shit?
Yeah. I didn't tell you why I like the passage. I like the passage because this is the first step. We get to see that Darrow realizes how far he has to go. And he even doesn't realize it at this point, how far he really has to go to start this revolution. And I don't think he's a true believer at this point, even after the passage. He's not like, he's a killer, but he's not like, it's for a noble reason.
Exactly.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, no. I know exactly what you mean, right? This is the least noble reason ever. Just because you have to do the thing. There's no other reason.
There's no
exactly. There's no why.
To quote when they first meet Finchner, and he goes, "They gave me the mad dogs." He says, "They gave me the killers of our race, the ones full of piss and napalm and vinegar." He sniffs the air. You smell full of shit. Tag team.
Perfect. Yes, just fucking perfect. Right. Feeling guilty over killing Julian, Darrow meets the other winners from House Mars, including Severo, Titus, and Cassius. Fitchner introduces the mock war against the other houses. Fitchner leads House Mars on a run around their new territory. Darrow and Cassius ambush and defeat 5 students from House Ceres. Fitchner emphasizes strategic thinking. So I literally have here, it's like the ultimate game of capture the flag. It's like insane. I don't know if folks who haven't read this book, if you're watching this review, listening to this review, if you understand exactly, there's like 5 or 6 different houses, and each house you get a cohort. So this is Darrow's cohort within the 1,000 students. Well, now the 500 students after the passage, they get separated, they get put into these houses, and then the goal of the game is to win all the other houses' flags. That's the point of the entire game. But when they start, they go right fucking to it. And you're right. You really forget.
It's like a battle royale, basically.
Exactly.
I'm just like every time I go to read this book, I'm like, let me just go straight to the action.
Yes, please. And he writes action so well. He writes action so well.
It's so easy to follow. This is not the first intro, but like the first extended convo with Severo. I love the way they give people nicknames. Like someone just calls him a goblin and he's Goblin from then on. Like that's crazy. They're talking about how we get food or whatever, and Severo's just like, unless we eat the wolves. Like he goes full hard from the beginning. The
most aggro, the most hardcore.
And he's always against Finchner from the very start. And Fisher tells to drag the deer he kills. What did you think of this cohort? Like of the individual?
Oh yes. Because we only got to know Cassius, Julian, Mustang, and Severo prior to this, there was nothing else for me to want. All of the characters we knew about prior to this cohort, we already knew. Going back for a reread, I would think about that a lot more. But the truth is, I didn't know anyone else.
First read, I liked Cassius. On reread, I hate this nigga's guts.
Explain yourself, because I do know, like what I said earlier, he's the most pompous asshole when they first meet. He's like, my father is the richest man ever. Whatever.
Even from the first time they meet, he's like
exactly. But in here, I liked him. In the Institute, I thought he was dope.
Once he gets to the Institute, you liked him. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Even the first time I read it, oh, he's a dude's brother. But then it's
explain yourself. Why though?
um,
Why
on
didn't
the
you like it?
reread because it's he comes across very hypocritical on the things he does. Like especially, I mean, the way he kills Titus.
What is his fucking expectation of Darrow? Lay there
Yeah,
and die?
yeah.
What is he asking someone
What is
else?
he? Yeah. What is? I
What do
get.
you,
I get that Julius was twin brother, but what do you knew exactly what was going to happen,
yeah. Like
and you
what the
trained.
fuck?
Why don't you train this man? You had a whole
Yeah.
year. He says in the book that he knew about the passage a year before. Why
And
were you not training this man for a whole
and
year?
he
Darrow
and
trained for
he
3 months.
yeah, and he knew Julian was soft. He's like, Julian's
Yeah,
a nice kid. I don't know if he has it in him. You knew about it a year before and you just let him go picking flowers and shit. Whip this, like, get
and
him into shape.
it says during the passage that Darrow gave him like the first shot. He was like he didn't just go straight up like run out and let's start beating him. He was like had like a fair fight. So I don't
Exactly.
know what more do you want from this man? Titus is fighting like a horse or something, and he pisses himself, and Severo's the only one that laughs. That's instant. That's the moment he becomes my favorite character. He just
It
does
just
not
feels
care.
real. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't care what anybody thinks.
All of these golds are like ruthless and they power hungry and it's
Mhm.
intense, right? Everyone wants to be the best, but what you just said there is very important as well. Their
Mhm.
quickness to become brutal, their quickness to
Yeah,
be offended and then let's duel and kill each other. That the
and
it's so they're so quick to go from 0 to 1,000, and they make that very clear throughout the book. But Severo's the only one ready to push buttons
from the
all fuck.
beginning,
Yeah,
yeah,
like doesn't give a shit. Like you want to
he's
go,
killing wolves with his bare hands.
and they make such a big deal out of Darrow going from a red like with Mateo and the Carver, right?
Yeah,
And
but it
Titus
seems
is
like
supposed
anybody
to
can just do it. It's Titus.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. But because Titus becomes this monstrosity of a man from
Yeah,
being a red, we would assume is around the same size as Darrow,
as
right?
Darrow. Yeah,
So the amount of pain and stress and whatever that Darrow had to go through, he must have done plus some.
same.
So it's
Yeah.
like they should be throwing reds into these institutes daily.
Yeah, exactly. This can't be the first two they've tried. Oh, and then when gives him his nickname, Fitchner claps mockingly. Prime, Reaper, Prime. Looks like someone is bucking for Primus.
The
Like
Reaper, baby.
Reaper, bro.
The
I think it's one of the
Reaper.
all-time great
That's
nickname,
yeah.
all
That,
time.
yes, yes, yes. Because
Yeah,
it's the Reaper, and in the
and
second
he
book,
carries a scythe. Yeah. Oh, it's
because you're right. The section that we just read, isn't that where he finds the Sith where he
yeah. He
no
pulls it from how serious because
yes
they're
yep
farmers.
yep
Yeah,
yep
yeah.
yep
So every fight feels like there's like tension. There's like you don't know who's coming out of this alive. Who even though it's an institute and people are not supposed to die, people still die. So you don't know who's coming out alive. I think that's the difference between this and the beginning part of the book. There's no he's gonna survive.
of course exactly.
Horse Mars argues over leadership. Darrow and Cassius strategize against Titus, who threatens their unity.
Hmm.
Fracture. House Mars fractures into tribes. Darrow and Cassius from their own tribe, focusing on survival. Severo, a lone wolf, roams the area. Darrow negotiates with Titus's tribe but faces hostility. This is the learning section, the learning curve. It's a steep learning curve. He got to learn somewhere about how to unite people, and he does a horrible job of it.
Horrible. At least in
And
the
Roke,
beginning, he does.
yeah, and Roke spares no expense in telling them how bad a job he's doing at any point in time.
He's like, "Are
He's
you
just bad
dumb, dude?"
decisions of
Yeah.
everything. I do have a quote between Severo and Antonio. Got when Severo comes in, I think he killed a wolf and just dragging it in. Darrow asks him, "Found the sheep too easy to kill? Where did you get the weapon?" "Born with them. His fingernails are bloody." Antonio wrinkles her nose. "Where in the hell were you raised?" Severo points his middle finger to her, the crux. "Ah, hell then." I just like how everyone just shits on Severo
Yeah,
constantly.
of course they do. Of course, because I have another quote from Cassius. Though occasionally we'll see him running along the hillsides at night in wolfskin, looking, as Cassius put it best, like some sort of hairy demon child on hallucinogens.
Or the other significant part of this chapter, I think, is we see more of Titus's motives. I think Titus is a big part of this section. These like 4 or 5
Of course he
chapters.
does. Yes, yes, he is.
Titus tries to make everyone think that he killed Priam. Think just to make everyone think he's hard and that he's that man. He's a bad motherfucker. Well, first of all, he doesn't. He stands down when Darrow starts spinning the knife or whatever, and he doesn't even say a word. He just starts spinning the knife. and he stands down. And secondly, when Roke convinces him to try to bring the house together, and this is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. He literally all he does is by himself walk into Titus's section, and he's like, "I'm here to negotiate."
Negotiate. Let's talk about it. Come on, bro.
Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
After that moment comes and goes, and everyone starts fighting to be Primus, the game has begun, and now everyone wants to be Primus. I see why democracy is illegal. First comes yelling, frustration, indecision, disagreements, ideas, scout, fortify, gather food, lay traps, blitz, raid, defense, offense. Pollock spits. Titus knocks him out cold. Antonio leaves. Severo says something snide to Titus and drags his wolf off to God knows where, never having lit a fire. Like, it just descends into chaos immediately.
But we do find out that Jackal does some insane shit and eats another fucking kid, right? So
Yeah.
there is this
The
chaos
Jackal-
that happens throughout all of the houses, right? But
it seems like why don't we get a book about what happened in every house?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why we need that TV show. Because I want to see.
Yeah, we can go way in depth.
Yeah, I want to see Jackal eat a motherfucker. I want to see him get fucking go in. And then we get to the Minerva house and we find out how everything is so well put together, organized.
They're camping. I don't know what
they're just hanging out. They got horses. They just chilling. They got a pond. They fishing.
I literally have it in my notes. Right from the beginning, Titus is looking for smoke.
100%.
Titus's tribe attacks House Sirius, taking slaves and burning crops. Darrow observes Titus's brutal tactics and sends a message to Antonia, forming alliances. When Titus captures and injures Quinn, Cassius retaliates, solidifying Darrow's plan against Titus. Darrow and Cassius encounter Mustang from House Minerva. They flee into a pond to escape her allies. Severo arrives and helps them strategize. They steal Minerva's standard, boosting House Mars' position.
I really like this part of the book because what we've gotten from Darrow so far is just blatant courage. I'm gonna run with Cassius and we're gonna go chase down these sheep on Sirius's land. And
they haven't started thinking.
Yeah, he doesn't start thinking, right? And then you get a little bit of it because it's like, damn, all of these golds they grew up lavishly. None of them know how to start a fire. At least he's got some real skills where he can survive off of, right? So we got that. But this is the first time you see real strategy. Prior to Cassius and Darrow in the water, you don't know that they've been sneaky paziki with Severo. Prior to this, Severo has just been that lone wolf.
No, I thought Severo just showed up.
Oh, did he just show up?
Yeah, that's one thing I had against him on this plan. This plan makes no sense.
Because if
I like the attempt, but
no, because if you're right, if he did just show up, this is the dumbest plan on the planet. But
he did just show up. I'm pretty sure.
Because
I'm pretty sure this man just shows up.
I thought that they went out and said, Severo, this is what we need you to do.
I thought it was my belief that Severo just shows up while they're in the pool.
In the pond. These motherfuckers were going to get frostbite.
No, yeah, Severo just shows up. Because...
maybe Darrow wasn't thinking. I'm over here trying to give him credit.
Darrow says, I'm going to be a slave again when they're in the pond. I'm going to be a slave again. Maybe not a real slave, but it doesn't matter. I won't lose. I cannot lose. Blah, 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 blah. If I let my plan fail. Yet I do not know how to beat my enemies. So I think this plan is half-assed at best.
It really is. Well, listen, Darrow, you lose a lot of credit from me. There is growth, though. There is growth. He did try to think about things, but at the same time, none of this plan would have been even possible.
Roke, this is where I think Roke discovers that it was actually Darrow that killed Julian. Because he sees him trying to manipulate to gaslight Cassius into thinking Titus killed.
Yeah, Roke is quick on the uptick.
He's quick on the uptake.
Yeah.
That's why he keeps insisting Darrow put himself as Primus.
Exactly. Make yourself king. Stop this half-ass Cassius and I are sharing the throne bullshit.
We're brothers. We came from Brooklyn. And then we're slowly shown how Titus is not fit to be a leader.
I have a lot of questions about that. Once we get to the point where, the end of Titus, I have a lot of questions for you. Darrow returns to House Mars with Minerva's standard, which is the flag, finding their castle taken over by House Minerva. He negotiates with Mustang, proposing to return captured Minervans for control of Mars's castle. Mustang is really smart. I really do like Mustang in this situation. Tensions run high. This is my brother. Tensions run high in Mars's castle. Darrow confronts Titus, discovering he is also a Red. Despite their shared origin, Darrow sentences Titus to death for his crimes. Cassius kills Titus in a duel. Fitchner informs Darrow that the Jackal is the Ark Governor's son. Shit goes from like, it's like, I'm not going to say
it goes from 100 to 200.
Exactly.
These two chapters, I think, very important. First of all, it starts off with him explicitly telling you, the reader, that he wants to be Primus. It says Cassius is needed for other things besides carrying the standard. Plus, if he carried it, then he would look the leader, and that will not do. But what does he do the next chapter, bro? The very next chapter, he pisses that shit away.
Cassius, you take care of the big deal. You take care of the big problem. The fucking reason we've been huddling outside in a fucking hut. You take care of that problem so people can look at you with the shine. It's the stupidest decision.
Crazy.
But right before we get into the Titus and Darrow situation, I really enjoy Mustang because she is strategic. Just like Fitchner was saying in the beginning, think strategically. Stop thinking brute strength.
It's the first thing Fitchner tells him to do.
The plan for Darrow is we're gonna have all of these people come surround the pond while we're in the water, and once someone else is gonna go steal the flag.
Let's walk through this plan, bro. Darrow and Cassius went to the border of House Minerva.
Mustang's Minerva.
Of House Minerva's territory. And then they met Mustang there. And then they pretend to steal her horse.
Yep.
Or make attempts to. Then their genius plan is once that plan fails and it turns out to be an ambush, is to jump in a pond and tread water for hours on end. If several doesn't show up, they have no hope of getting out of this pond without becoming slaves. Right? It's half a plan. They have someone light a fire. I think Roke light a fire, gets the smoke going. And then Mustang will think, oh, let's go raid House Mars. So they would leave. But of course, they leave people behind.
Exactly.
People, and there's two people on horseback, which they obviously can't take. So without Severo's interference and taking down those two people,
there's no way.
The plan would have failed.
Back to Mustang being strategic and fucking a genius in this situation. Everything is happening real time for Mustang. There's no plan for her. She's just rolling with the shit that she gets.
She makes split-second decisions.
Exactly. Smart decisions.
All
Smart
correct.
decision.
Yeah.
So Severo, Cassius, and Darrow are stealing the standard, the flag for House Minerva.
House Minerva, yeah.
And then
he immediately realizes. I don't even know how she knows.
Exactly. I don't know how she knows.
House Minerva.
Because that's happening, she's like, let me go take their house. And
you know
it's genius.
Severo's the MVP. Severo's the MVP because he takes the Mars standard. He slips in right from Titus and takes the Mars standard and buries it.
Yeah.
Severo's really the MVP of this.
Of course.
No, but Severo will be my number one pick.
He would be a number one pick after you read the book. He's not your number one pick when you first reading the book. When you're first reading the book.
When you're first reading the book, I think the unanimous is the Jackal. The Jackal has 4 houses, some shit like that. Something crazy.
He's just fucking torturing, doing
he was made for this.
Lives in it, loves it, rolling in the dirt. Yeah.
Several probably with 0 to 500. This man goes 0 to 2,000.
You hear about him eating people? It's what the fuck?
Oh, the first time you hear about him. Where's the first time you hear about him?
The first time you hear about him is when Mustang is negotiating with Darrow, and Mustang tells Darrow straight up, "Don't involve yourself with. Watch out for the Jackal," or some shit like that.
Yeah, she describes him like the boogeyman.
Exactly. And again, what you were saying about the names of these dudes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Titus loses. Darrow sentences Titus to death, but he allows Cassius to do the actual killing. You're in this situation.
I don't let Cassius do it.
Yes, you don't let Cassius do it. But do you actually kill Titus? Do you make the decision to kill Titus?
There was no decision. He had to. I feel like there's no decision.
Do you really think so?
Yeah. He's vengeance personified, bro.
Yeah. He's a monster. He is a monster.
That's what the author wants us to see.
But at the same time, I remember this specifically. Darrow goes down and is interrogating Titus. He asks Titus, "You were sexually assaulting all of these people. You were fucking torturing these slaves. You weren't feeding them. You were doing all of these crazy shit." And Titus was like, "Yeah, sure, I was, but Antonio was too. Tactus was too. Why aren't they but yes, he's the leader. If anyone's gonna go down for all of these horrible decisions, it needs to be the leader." But the thing that gets me, Mumbunga, Tactus, not Titus. Titus is already dead. Tactus is the one that tries to sexually assault someone, and then Darrow decides to get whipped for it?
You're missing the key point here.
What is the key point that I'm missing? What am I missing?
Titus is a red, bro. That is the key. That is the main key difference.
So you're saying that
that's why he kills him. That is the reason why. It's
wait,
not
wait.
because of the race. It's not because of anything else. It is
Oh,
simply because he's a red, bro.
Okay.
And he's unhinged.
Letting Cassius do it.
Yeah, letting Cassius do it is crazy.
He had to do the thing Jon Snow did, where he had to cut that, like chop the head off of that kid. He had to do it, and Jon Snow did it. Darrow doesn't do it.
I love how they call his horse Quietus. For people who didn't read the book, they call his horse Quietus because that's how Darrow was when Cassius chopped off this man's head. It's brilliant. I love the pettiness, bro.
It's amazing.
House Mars faces water shortages and continues battling House Minerva. Darrow and Severo form an alliance with House Diana, planning to attack House Minerva. Darrow leads an attack on Minerva's castle, challenging Pax to a duel. Using a strategic signal, Darrow forces overwhelm Minerva, Mustang retreats, and Darrow spares her. This is where I wish the book was longer.
Exactly. I feel like it's moving too fast. Even in
way too fast.
Even in my review, they're doing 3 different battles in these 2 chapters. Because it's technically two different battles. Right. But at the same time, it's with the
very related.
Yeah, it's very related. The strategy, it's so much is happening so fast. And even for anyone who hasn't read the book, this is the part where I felt like maybe you might be a little lost in that explanation or the summary, but it really does move this fast in the book as well. It's not just me. They really pick up speed. Once Titus is dead, Mars is out there chasing everybody constantly. Another beautiful quote from Rogue. He ends up saying, "Tactics win battles. Strategy wins wars." Short, sweet, it's beautiful, and it gets to the point. Do you like the fact that he let Mustang go?
I do like that fact. He's ruthless when he needs to be, when it serves a purpose. Unlike Titus.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the duel against Pax.
Pax is a beast.
Pax is a beast. 7 foot tall, looking like Yao Ming on steroids.
In my head, I
also don't know how Darrow wins these with no training.
None.
I mean, that's a little bit suspension of belief.
You got to remember, Darrow's uncle Nero
he was
taught
LeBron
him
James.
You know,
he's LeBron James. He's LeBron James who did ballet. They really try to yada this, that he's the best of the best.
Yeah. You ever seen a UFC fight? Motherfucker moonwalking. Shit's crazy.
Oh my god. House Diana betrays her agreement, leading to conflicts. That's just so sad. That's a betrayal. Darrow, Cassius, and Rogue face new threats from House Pluto and the Jackal.
Mm-hmm.
Antonia kills Leah, escalating the tension. Apologies. Cassius confronts Darrow about Julian's murder, leading to a duel. Cassius stabs Darrow and leaves him to die. What are your thoughts? Let's hear this. I got some banger thoughts on this.
Yeah. One. So the thing is, it's to this day, I don't know. To this day, I don't know if Cassius actually expected Darrow to die.
I think it's clear that he left him to die. It's the Obi-Wan Anakin situation.
Yeah, because he's
pretty much cooked.
There's no way in hell he thought that a random person from a different house is going to come out and save Darrow. So, but it's so hard for me to believe Cassius would want to fucking kill Darrow. That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing I'm trying to prevent from believing, because it's the stupidest fucking thing.
And it becomes a lifelong feud.
If you're in that world, if you're in that universe, if you know what the passage is, if you know
that's why on reread I said he comes across as a huge hypocrite.
No, you're right. It's hard to look at him any other way, because it's Darrow didn't have a choice. It's not like he went out of his way and he's you know what? If we get to pick partners, I want that weakling Julian. He was put in the room with him, not by choice. And he did what he had to do.
The other part of this, I think, is that Darrow sent Severo to get the recording from that the Jackal sent. I think that hurts more than him murdering his brother. Because he just doesn't the chapter before say we've just become I might have lost a brother, but I got 2 more.
Yep.
And then he's immediately betrayed by that brother.
Yeah, hold on to the rock for a second. Yeah, no, you're right.
The package that the Jackal
gives to Cassius and Darrow when they meet up for the first time.
Right.
Wait, is it?
No, he sends
people. He doesn't meet up. Yeah.
And Quinn leads them to them, and then he asked specifically for Cassius. and gives Cassius specifically something. And Darrow's like, "Yo, let's see what's in it. You know, let's see what's in it."
Hey,
And
don't worry.
Cassius, nah, don't worry about it. I looked at it. Wait, my one big thought. How the hell do you fall for the same trick twice? Oh, someone is lost in the woods. I would have turned right over to sleep, bro. I would have flipped my pillow over. How do you fall for the same trick twice?
Twice.
God. And it's back-to-back nights.
It is actually crazy.
It's not like it's a long period of time.
It is crazy.
This is crazy.
Do you think this is a plot hole, or do you think just speaks to the character?
No, I think it speaks to the character because the second time, I won't say he fell for it, but no, he fell for it in the beginning.
He fell for it.
Then he immediately knows that Cassius finds out. Not a good moment for Darrow and his soaring IQ that we're meant to believe he has.
So all of the everything that we just talked about, I think for the past 6, 7, 8 chapters that we just went through, it was action, 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 action. So things start to slow down after this. Darrow getting close to death. Darrow fighting the one person that he was arms linked with from the minute he got into Institute is a great part to slow down in. When the first time reading through, I was like, oh, now we're gonna get into this boring section of the book, but just on the recollection, it does make sense. It makes the most sense before you ramp up at the end.
That section that we just went through, from the beginning of the Institute to when Cassius stabs him, is just
so exciting. It's so exciting. I couldn't stop reading. It's just what happens next? Who are we getting next? What's the strategy? It's so fun to read. Darrow is rescued by Mustang and taken to a cave. They discuss leadership and strategy. Fitchner visits and reveals the Proctors are helping the Jackal. Fitchner advises Darrow to avoid the Jackal. This is the second person telling him, avoid this kid.
Don't go near that boy.
Oathbreakers. Darrow and Mustang recruit 3 Oathbreakers for their army. Darrow's army frees 12 slaves, including Pax. Darrow sneaks into House Mars territory, intimidating his enemies.
Yeah, he draws a sickle on every door. Yeah. And
how did he have time to do that?
And Cassius's chair. He's trying to be like the Jackal. That's exactly what he's trying to do. From the Institute to Northwoods, he's just making mistakes.
Yeah.
And Fitchner just calls him out on it right from here. He's like, bro, I don't know how you fucked this up.
You fucked it all up.
You had everything in the palm of your hand, dog.
And you handed it to Cassius. Everything
on the silver platter, bro.
Yep.
Saying fuck you to Fitchner. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna take down House Jupiter and House Apollo. Great moment.
And then also that's when the love is in the air in this the Northwoods.
Yeah, with Mustang.
Mustang does end up humming the tune to the song, and then Mustang ends up getting pneumonia or some shit, and then Darrow's taking care of Mustang, and when Darrow's taking care of Mustang, Darrow sings the entire song. I wanted to ask you specifically, we now know that cameras are everywhere, and Darrow does even in the book say, oh fuck, why did I do that? Why did I sing the song? Do you think I'll be noticed? And then the deal he makes with the slaves, you guys just have to be on my team. If you don't want to be on my team, fine. Right? This is the strategy. This is him.
This is when he starts learning.
Exactly. He's like, look, you don't have to be on my team, but if you are going to be on my team, you follow me. We won't enslave you again. We won't take your, because if you get enslaved twice, there's levels to how bad you can do.
The ones the Oathbreakers are the ones who got enslaved and ran
away. Yeah.
If you're enslaved, ran, and then got enslaved again, that's crazy.
That's great. Exactly. So it's we're not going to re-enslave the runners from slavery.
It's like if Harriet Tubman showed up, freed your ass, and then you somehow end up back in Georgia, bro.
And calling her, Harriet, come back me up again.
And then Harriet Tubman comes back. He's like, "You again?" Harriet, I'm gonna need you to punch my freaking flyer card on the Underground Railroad.
It is very smart the way they go about it. It's you can either be re-enslaved by some random house that are definitely going to do that and not think, or you can join my team, not be a slave, but we're in this together. It's genius.
I think, he finally realizes that we have to lead. Darrow's army captures House Sirius' castle, freeing the slaves. Darrow publicly punishes Tactus for attempting to rape a slave, demonstrating shared accountability. Darrow organizes his army to scout for House Apollo. They encounter Apollo's Primus and pretend to be weaker. At night, Apollo's cavalry attacks, but Darrow's forces are prepared. Darrow and Mustang go closer. He goes full Denzel with the whipping, single tear. Yeah. Tactus, I don't know what Mans was thinking.
It's just
wild. Let me say again. These things are 16, bro.
Tactus is wild. He's just I miss the Titus days. He's an animal. You have to imagine that these dudes, like all of these goals, everyone except for Titus and Darrow, literally grew up getting everything they wanted immediately.
They're not used to be told no. You're right.
Ever. But the Darrow, when you say he's coming to his own, really does fucking come to his own. This is a quote that I absolutely love. You do not follow me because I am the strongest. Pax is. You do not follow me because I am the brightest. Mustang is. You follow me because you do not know where you are going.
Boom.
I do. It's just, and it's like, yes, Darrow, do your fucking thing.
This is why I feel like the book should be longer, because I feel like we should have taken a little bit more to get to this point, and I feel like it's a little bit rushed. It's not as earned, but I mean, it's still very, very good.
Up to this point, it's like failure, and it's not complete failures. Like
it's not complete failures.
Yeah,
but
he's failing in the success, but then now he's like, all right, it has to be my way. Let's fucking do it.
House Apollo, what does he do?
Oh,
he goes up to
yeah.
Primus, pretends to be someone else. He pretends to not be the Reaper. Like, yo, you heard this about the Reaper guy? Gassing himself up, bro. And then base them into attacking because he thinks they're weak.
No, it is smart. It is very smart.
It's smart. Very smart. All Apollo. Darrow escapes a bear sent by Apollo and is rescued by Severo. Darrow's army disrupts Apollo's ranks. Severo infiltrates Apollo's castle. Darrow and Pax capture the castle. Darrow confronts Mustang about her loyalty. He orders his army to capture House Jupiter's castle. Darrow tricks Lucian, revealing him as a jackal. I love these 2 chapters.
Yes.
Wish it was longer. Maybe like a couple more chapters, but hey, I understand it's the first book.
Yeah, because they just roll through these houses. The bear getting sent to
he pushes him from the tree and falls right in front of a bear.
Oh yes.
Yeah. which is that's some work, bro.
Darrow reveals Lucian as the jackal and demands he cuts off his hand. The jackal uses a sonic detonator to attack, killing Pax. Darrow and his howlers chase the jackal into the mountains. Darrow kills Apollo's proctor. I'm just gonna stop there. I'm gonna just read that one because there's so much that's happening right now.
There's a lot that happens. First of all, him catching the jackal. I mean, that scene is so tense. It's like
dope. But I was so confused up until all of the crew woke up drinking wine.
I was so confused. When the first time I read this, I was so confused because you don't learn that Mustang is a sister until after.
The plan was genius because I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was so confused at all of this, right? They're having this big party. Everyone's celebrating. The Reaper has taken over. The entire time, Darrow knows that the jackal is Lucian, but they don't tell us that he knows.
Right.
We only find out after Darrow, he empties out his bag. He's like, look, I got this bone from this fucking house, this shit from that house. He pulls out the knife and he's like, this shit... puts the knife in the jackal's hand on the table.
And says you're free to go if you cut it off. This man does not hesitate, bro.
It's insane. It's insane. I had to read it twice. I was like, there's no way this kid, 16, remember, y'all,
just
16,
chops off his hand.
And the thing is, it's one thing to just chop off his hand. He chops off his hand and he already knows his next 3 steps, using the detonator to kill Pax and then getting out of there. It's amazing.
I open the bag and dump out its contents. A score of golden sigil rings roll across the table. Lucian watches them roll. These all came from the dead kids. The kids the Megbots couldn't save. Let's see. We have Jupiter, Venus, Neptune, Bacchus, Juno, Mercury, Diana, Ceres. Odd. I can't find a Pluto. Looks up at him and goes, oh, there's one.
Yeah.
Dog.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. And that's when he just stabs.
He immediately stabs his hand.
It's amazing. But right before that, when the narrator's just in Darrow's head, this is what Darrow's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen actors, but this is different. It is as though he is reasonable to the point of being inhumane. So like that's when he's like, I know that this
is a different kind of breed.
Exactly. It's like this dude is psychopathic. There is no there is no sense of right and wrong. It's what he wants, and he can change like his fucking being to do the thing he wants. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
And he does tell when he says Jackal, I am Reaper. Jackal immediately goes, yeah, you got the better name. Which is dope. I love that, bro. Yeah. Jackal really grows on me later on.
Oh yeah, by the 3rd book, Jackal is king of fucking planets. This dude is.
This dude is.
Yeah.
With one hand.
By choice, ladies and gentlemen.
By choice. Darrow and Severo lift their howlers to Olympus. I love the howlers.
Mm-hmm.
Capturing silver proctors. Darrow defeats Mercury's proctor. Several ambushes Jupiter. Darrow's army rescues Mustang. You want me to just read the last two?
Yes, please.
Darrow finds Mustang and kisses her. He sends her to capture the Jackal standard. Darrow marshals his army for the final battle against the Jackal. Darrow's army prepares to face the Jackal. Mustang presents the captured Jackal. Arch-Governor Nero offers Darrow a position of power. Darrow accepts, planning his rebellion.
The book ends.
All-out sprint to the final point, final chapter. What did you think? Let me be honest. Did you think, be honest, that Mustang was gonna betray Darrow?
Darrow, 100%.
When he found out,
100%.
Yeah, I did too.
100%. The first time I read it, I was like, "There's no way." Twins, like if they were siblings, and
I was thinking after the kiss, I was thinking she played him like a fiddle from the
exactly,
like leaving her alive in the reeds. Like, oh, she
was the first one to mention the Jackal. Like, how would you know? Like,
it's all like the movie when like someone like usual suspect when he finds out who Kaiser Soze is, and it starts like zooming on his face. I was like, that should just happen.
That's it. After reading the third book, I'm thankful that she doesn't. But I also was quite pissed. I was like, we were building up the Jackal to be the most epic.
I was hyped for this final showdown.
Exactly. I was like, he can't go down like this off screen by his sister. Come on, give me something. You do learn further books. He's not the fighter. He's like the strategic master, but like
he's a joker, basically.
Exactly. I wanted more from him. The thing that kind of bothered me about the ending here, and I'm not going to lie to you, what I am pissed off about this specific book is all of these kids are training to become Peerless Scarred. And the fucking Mount Olympus with the 4 or 5 Peerless Scarred proctors, they get taken out in minutes.
There's a reason why they're proctors. I think when he's talking to Fincher, Darrow's talking all this shit about him, right? And Fincher's like, yo, I can kill an obsidian with my bare hands, bro. I'm like the best with the fucking laser sword or whatever. Yada yada yada. And Darrow asks him, yo, who else can do what you do? And he has very few. So the proctors are not good. They're not like the elite.
Yeah, and it makes sense because if they were elite, they wouldn't be teaching kids.
Exactly.
Right? Like they would be
not that teachers aren't an elite and valued members of the society.
I would never say such a thing.
I want to make that clear.
Of course I wouldn't say that, but I'm just saying the reality of the situation.
If they're elites, they'll be leading a fleet.
Exactly. They would be leading a fleet. And that's like the ultimate Pierce Scarred outside of being like the emperor or whatever the fuck, right? Octavia or the Arch-Governor of an entire planet. Like those are the pinnacles of what you could be as a Peerless
or
Scarred.
A guardian or whatever.
Yeah.
Or at least they should have made storming the Olympus the big ending.
The big ending.
Yeah. If they were gonna just like yada yada the Jackal
stuff.
Mustang. Yeah.
But like it does I'm happy that I can't
I'm happy with the book we got.
Yeah, I'm happy with the book we got, but it's very difficult for me to separate the books because literally the minute I was done reading this book, I started reading
picked up the next one.
The minute like
I think as a trilogy, this is up there.
Yes.
The first 3 books.
Yes. Because you can't not want to read on after reading the last sentence of this book. Knowing that the Arch-Governor, the father of Mustang and Jackal
immediately gives him a job, bro.
Immediately.
Like, oh, you cut off my son's hand? Yeah, come work for me, bro.
It's like and it's another sign of the cruelty and the brutality and the ruthlessness of the goal.
Yeah,
you did this to my son, my heir to the throne. You cut off his hand. I'm going to replace him. I'm gonna replace him immediately with the person who cut off his fucking hand. Being the Jackal, the amount of shame that you must feel, and in the book it mentions it. That the Arch-Governor literally walks by Mustang, walks by the Jackal, not a word.
He only cares about number 1 picks, baby.
Exactly.
That's all he cares about. He wants him a one Binyama, bro. He doesn't want anybody else.
Nothing. Nobody else. No nepotism here.
He only wants the best.
Yeah. Just a couple of quotes, and then
I think it stings harder. I think it stings harder because he rigged the game specifically for the Jackal. He still lost. I think that is what hits the hardest for him.
And then they do like the Arch-Governor is like, I know several stole the videos. Can you help me have these disappear, please? Like,
I'll give you a little promotion. Rise of ranks.
Yeah, Severo really is the fucking MVP. He really is.
You could almost take this whole book as like a prequel to the other books. I almost think the second book is a start of this series.
Exactly.
Almost, yeah.
Exactly. Because these are kids. Like, and like,
yeah, these are all 16 here. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, Mumbunga, what you said is so perfectly true. Because like when you get into the second book, like the wider world is like, okay, you guys graduated. Everyone graduates, right? Congratulations, you graduated. Welcome to the real world. As a reader, you're like, holy shit, all of that craziness was
high school.
A bunch of kids. Yeah, this was fucking high school. It was just high school. It's so crazy. Just a couple of quotes here. 2 quotes. They're on the longer side, but just, this is Darrow. I will rise. I will attend the academy. I will learn to lead the fleets. I will win. I will sharpen myself into a sword. I will give my soul. I will dive to hell in hopes of one day rising to freedom. I will sacrifice, and I will grow my legend and spread it amongst the peoples of all the worlds until I am fit to lead the armies that will break the chains of bondage. Because I am not simply an agent of the son of Ares. I am not simply a tactic or a device in the Ares scheme. I am the hope of my people, of all people in bondage. That's Darrow's finishing line. But the book doesn't finish with Darrow. The book finishes with the Arch Governor Nero. And he says, my master kisses the top of my head. This is Darrow speaking. Of my head and whispers the words, and I do my best to cage the fury that has made me a thing sharper than red, harder than gold. Darrow, Lancer of House Augustus, rise. There are duties for you to fill. Rise. There are honors for you to take. Rise for glory, for power, for conquest, and dominion over lesser men. Rise, my son. Rise. It's amazing.
Yo, I'm going to work for him immediately, bro.
Right?
Bro. No pay.
It's the greatest thing ever. It literally is the greatest thing ever. It's the perfect way to end the book because you just want to see what happens.
You're anticipating like, oh shit, this is not even the beginning of the revolution. We haven't even started the revolution yet.
Yeah. There's no revolution yet. He just got accepted into the place where he can start a strategy to begin the revolution.
That's crazy.
It's amazing. It's
the setup. This whole book is just a setup.
I just want to share my screen with you, and I want to show you my dream scenario, what the series would be. These movie stars are too big to be in a TV series about a book like this. This is my dream scenario, okay?
I knew Austin Butler was going to be in here, bro. he was my pick, too.
So this is my pick. And
Austin Butler, I agree with. You can go with a nobody because it's so short.
It is a nobody. Yeah, it really is. But I just think that Anya Taylor-Joy just looks perfect. She just looks fucking gorgeous as an Ea. They do need to be able to sing.
Oh, that's a great pick.
You see him with the gold eyes. You see him with the gold eyes. And you have to remember, if Augustus is black, his kids have to be black. But this is my hope.
Mustang. Okay, that's
as Zendaya.
That's exactly who they would go for.
Right? Of course.
That was also my pick that was also my pick. Was Idris.
If Jackal could be,
but I had him as Darrow. Not as Darrow, as Cassius.
Oh, I see. But just that one scene in Snowfall, bodies. I'm like, that's the Jackal. That's the Jackal. Cassius, I just needed
to pull it off. I can see him pull it off.
Yeah, I thought about him when I thought
for Severo. That's crazy, son. That is crazy, son.
Do you think Severo being a female doesn't work? Do you think that's
sex?
You don't think so?
No, it doesn't work. Need someone savage. Need someone ruthless. Someone who can go out there and fight wolves.
Did you see The Last of Us? Did you see the show? I thought she did such a good job.
Wolves with their bare hands, bro. I don't know what to tell you, dog.
But this is who I wanted Fitchner. John Turturro.
I had Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, of course. You and Maburi are obsessed with this dude. I don't know what did he do to the Makaya family? Why is he like on the altar of actors? Why? Antonio becomes a real savage in the later books. And I love fucking Jenna Ortega. And I feel like she could play. Yeah, I feel like she could be such a horrible, great person. And
that is a great choice.
Right? For Rogue, you just need a poet, someone simple, someone easy going. I feel like Simu Liu would, and those are all the people I picked. That would be a dream team. But at the same time, you have to think.
It's funny you picked made the decision between black and white actors. Because the way I saw it, like if they did this TV show, I thought it would be like they would do the motion capture and then they just make them all gold. and they'd be like 6 foot. They'd like look like perfect human beings, like 6 foot tall, 6'6".
That would be the most expensive TV show in the history of the world. Like at least for like the Lord of the Rings on Amazon.
Just give it to Amazon, man. Just give it to Amazon. They got
No,
money to burn.
I was literally about to say that, but for that, a lot of it you could just put
Apple just spent 20-something million an episode on Severance season 2. Star Wars, I can understand. Star Wars, $20 million for the Acolyte, I can understand.
Yeah, but
Severance
is great. Yeah, no, you're right. And that show, the offices are white. Like, what are you spending the money on? What?
If you do like Avatar style, you can get any actor. The age doesn't matter, you know. You can get Denzel to be Darrow. You know, it don't matter, bro.
Don't get me excited. Don't get me excited.
But I also don't know if they could do Avatar for a TV show.
Any final thoughts, Mumbunga? It's obvious that you truly love this book. I mean, we went on for hours. This is the longest podcast we've ever done.
Yeah, it's the longest we've done.
Yeah.
My last closing thought is I think if I had structured this book, if I was the author, I think I would have started at the Institute and then had flashbacks throughout of his time as a Red.
Yeah.
So that I think it would hit harder when you find out Titus is a Red. If you don't know Darrow is a Red to begin with.
Yes.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
I think when hearing Eo's song, when Mustang sings it, every time she sings it, it would like jolt his memory. I think that would have been the way to go.
I always say that there's levels to books, right? It's a good book is like, all right, I can't wait to reread it in a few years. A great book is like, I want more. What's the sequel? Like the best books, you want to live in that universe. You want to be in that fucking world. And it's like, I couldn't get enough of this book.
This book you can't drop. Once you pick it up, you can't
Exactly.
drop.
You can't.
That's actually the second and third.
And
which is the one with are we going to do the second and third?
Of course we are. We have to.
And
this is some behind the scenes shit. The last podcast we did about the end of the universe, Mumbunga spoiled the ending of the third book for me.
Did I? No, I didn't.
Yeah,
no, I didn't.
Yes,
I left it out.
Mumbunga, you said
what did I say?
It gets so good when they roll her head at the end of the book. I'm like, come on. Come on. I'm like, what? But like, even knowing that, there's so many people's heads that could roll. It's just so epic. It's so epic.
The type of book where it doesn't matter if it's spoiled. Like the dialogue leading up to it.
It's so good. Cool. But ladies and gentlemen, that is Red Rising, the fucking greatest sci-fi book of our generation. Yes, I'm saying it. It is a fact.
It is a fact. It's between this and Expanse.
All right, look, Mumbunga, you're the best. Yeah. Until we do Morning Star, and at some point we have to do Dantes. I'll catch you in the flip.